Netflix has just let everybody know that it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay, and it's fully integrated into Hollywood. Let's talk about it. So Netflix released a trailer for all their film releases for 2022. This is a big blockbuster trailer. And a few weeks ago, Netflix did announce that it's focusing more on blockbuster films. Now, so they have this massive, ginormous trailer, and it has everybody in it. Kevin Hart, Chris Humphries, Sherlock Holmes. Like, there's just so many people. There's so many people in it, and it's huge. And it shows that Netflix has finally and fully imprinted itself in Hollywood. And what I think is so funny, I remember Steven Spielberg, I wonder if he's going to reject Netflix, because he had a few things to say about Netflix back. Like, a lot of these traditional filmmakers, that are 70 and above, that are a little bit older, they didn't like Netflix. They didn't like that Netflix took away from the cinema experience. And I get where they're coming from, but considering that I am a filmmaker and I voluntarily watch all my content on my computer when I have a television, I have televisions that I can watch content on, shows that if I'm going to do that and I care about quality and I'm a filmmaker, the basic consumer doesn't care. My younger siblings watch stuff on their cell phones, right? Nobody cares anymore. And so I do understand and I respect the traditional filmmakers for being upset with Netflix, but guys, Hollywood, Netflix is here to stay. And I think the pandemic really created that shift, and because Hollywood needed Netflix for it to survive. There were so many films that had to either be halted because they couldn't be released in cinemas, or they needed Netflix to distribute it because they needed to make their money. And Netflix is calling a lot of shots now. This video is brought to you by mintedculture.com, where you can watch all of my content. Brand Video Pro, the Kenim O Show, Stream OVG, and Stream OVG Business. All my content in one place. Head on over to mintedculture.com. And you can also book a one-on-one strategy call with me, where we can go through business, media, entrepreneurship, Web3, the metaverse, and how to dominate in this new media landscape. So if you guys want to book a consultation, a one-on-one consultation with me, with yours truly, head on over to mintedculture.com. So they were able to put together this incredible trailer. And what it tells me, like, when you look at this trailer, what it tells me is that, number one, like, Netflix has a lot of money. That's the first thing I'm thinking. Like, Netflix has a lot of money, because these are not low budget productions. These are they look like they're $100 million, $70 million productions. So, and then yes, we know that Netflix makes a lot of money. We know they have a lot of investors. We know they have a lot of subscribers and all of that. But damn, they're spending a lot of money, because think about it, they're 52 weeks in a year. You mean to tell me that every single week this year, there's going to be a new Netflix original film? I already struggle with picking what I want to watch on Netflix. It's a struggle for me. And you're giving us more content. But at least we know now that this content, because it's Hollywood studio production blockbuster, we know that we're getting quality, which is a good thing for Netflix, that they're changing their model. But Netflix has a lot of money. One thing I will say, another thing that I noticed, is that it was clear that this has been years in the making. And we know that this has been years in the making. We know that Netflix has always intended to go this way. But the reason why I say this specifically has been years in the making, like, these films are most likely, especially the ones where all the actors were looking at the camera, these were all Netflix originals. So when it comes to movies, it takes years to develop a script. It takes years to finance a film. But once you have that, you can do production, pre-production relatively quickly. Post-production takes a long time, especially with the big CGI stuff, right? It takes a long time. So when it comes down to it, just seeing them talk in the trailer, and these are like the real sets from these movies, we know that going into production, this was already a Netflix original. Netflix was already attached from the beginning, because on set, they would have just said, hey, just say these lines for the commercial that we're going to put on Netflix. So this whole commercial was written probably about a year or two ago. And that means that it had to have been approved. And we know that, well, I know that Netflix is a bureaucracy. It's such a big company. It takes time for them to, make decisions like that. So this definitely was years in the making. So you see these actors reading their lines. That's just not, they didn't just create that set. That was during, unless they did, which is an insane amount of money to spend. To spend the money twice doesn't make sense because they were replicating the set. So I mean, yes, on one side they could have done a new production entirely, but to me, what it looked like and the consistency of what it looked like, it was, to me, what I thought is that on set of each of these movies they had these things recorded, and so that tells me it took a while for them to even get this going. So that tells me that these are real, true Netflix originals, for at least most of the stuff that we see in that commercial. And this is a big deal because that means Netflix was putting together most of the money. So that means they have a lot of money. So there are 52 weeks in a year. So you could stretch it and say that maybe a few of them are not Netflix originals. Maybe a few of them are licensed. Maybe that's the case. But for the most part, from what I saw, it's giving Netflix originals. And what that tells me is that Netflix is positioning itself as the new cinema. I say this all the time. I say this time and time again. I don't remember the last time I went to the movies. Like literally, it was probably, I went last year, March. That's 2021 in March. And I only went once in 2021. In 2020, I don't think I went to the movies, or maybe I went like once or twice. Before that, maybe 4 times a year. So even me as a filmmaker, I don't go to the movies anymore. I do want to watch a movie though. I want to watch a new movie that's coming out. So maybe I'll go again. But my point is, it's so interesting to me that Netflix is really creating that new cinema model, that every Friday there's a new blockbuster Netflix original. And it makes sense. Of course, it was inevitable. Of course they're going to do that. Of course they want to fully become the new cinema. It makes sense. And yes, all these movie theaters are doing deals with HBO Max and getting all the quality blockbusters on HBO Max. I personally would just rather, I have both. I always have Netflix. I always have my Netflix, even though I don't watch it. I have my Netflix there. But HBO Max, I actually watch as much as I can on HBO Max because I really enjoy the content on HBO Max. So then the question is, how is Netflix going to improve, holistically improve the quality of its content? I think they're doing a good job. I think they're still producing quality. And the difference between them and HBO Max is I don't know. I want to say it's like here, but no, it's like here because HBO Max has it has Euphoria. Netflix does not have a show, a contender like Euphoria. Netflix might have a Gilded Age. Netflix doesn't have a Game of Thrones. But it does have great content. It still has great content at the end of the day. Not everything has to be excellent. Either way, those are my thoughts on Netflix, how Netflix is dominating the marketplace, getting everybody upset. I think people must be over being upset right now. They just have to accept it. It is what it is. But those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. My name is Kenim, and see you next time. Peace.